Hello, beautiful Pisces. Welcome to a new era. My name is Emma. Pisces, this is your monthly read for July of 2024. And we're going to start with an overall energy to just get a feel for what the core message is. And then we're going to go deeper and deeper into that message to really get the juices out of whatever you're supposed to hear for the month of July. And at the very end, we're going to have your, very drawn to that dragon. The dragon energy might be present in your life right now. We're also going to have your fairies come out at the very end and give you some advice, some little message, something. Okay, and I would love for you to subscribe to the channel. It really helps me a lot. And give it a thumbs up at the end if you like the video. It also helps me a lot. There you go. Peace and quiet. Not quiet, but peace. Dove, take a leap of faith. Wow, I just feel like a big earthly movement. All of that rainbow energy coming in and all of that. It's almost like, you see that woman? She's like blending into the earth. The flowers are sort of becoming lucid. The butterflies are becoming lucid. Like, maybe you're very much into like the metaphysical right now, or the non-physical, or how thought become things, or like how matter is just made out of. I might be a little bit what do you call that? Colored. You don't say that. Bias. You see bias? Because I've started to watch this dark matter. It's a little bit too, it's not violent, but it's a little bit too, almost too creepy for me. And you're probably gonna, if you already have seen it, or if you will see it, you probably will laugh a little bit, because it's not. I'm just really, really sensitive to violence and to the creepier stuff. I don't like it, but it's so well done. It's so well done, and it's so, I understand that some people will just watch it as a sci-fi and that was that. I watch it as a, this is how it is. Like, this is how it is. This is how it works in life, in space, in whatever. So when I see this, it's like, yeah, well, you know, this is what it is. Nothing is tangible. Not everything is tangible, and nothing is tangible. Nothing is nothing, and everything is nothing. Like, it's all out there. It can become very, like, wow, out of mind. Are you out of your mind? It's very lucid. And when I say that, you might also be into lucid dreaming. You might be into lucid. It can even be like people think that you can all. Sorry for not finding the words. People think that you can almost not. Okay, starting over. People think that you can only have lucid dreaming at night, but that's not true. In my own reference, at least, I know that you can sort of space out. You can have lucid dreaming in your daytime when you're actually starting to see things. You're being put elsewhere than in your like present reality, if that makes sense. Maybe you have some of that as well, or you feel detached from what feels real. I love this type of reading. This is my kind of cup of tea, completely. So I hope it resonates with someone out there. Okay, going deeper, we're not even going to use that deck, I can see that. Going deeper into this message, what do we have for Pisces for the month of July? Because what does this mean, you know? Why? Because it's about peace. It's about finding your peace. It's about having an understanding of the bigger picture. Usually if we understand the bigger picture, peace comes with it. Patience and planning. Again, okay, one thing at a time. Disruption, Tower. I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to move on to a different deck before we get into these. Patience and planning and disruption. What else for Pisces? July of 2024. We have TikTok. Maybe you just set up a TikTok account. We have time, and we have blessed. Okay, we're going to start there. Is what I'm getting. Excuse me. So, the Dove card represents, and take a leap of faith. I love that. It's like taking a step into the unknown, like putting yourself in a situation that is just not comfortable for you. And it might be like very throwing yourself out there, or throwing yourself deeper into things that are really unknown to you. And it's not unknown. Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is the unknown that you haven't experienced this before. But it's not like this is a job and you know what the job is. Or like if you have been driven a Ford, you've been driven a Ford your whole life, and then you're changing it up to a Toyota, as one should. And product placement here. And so, excuse me. And it's not like, well, should I just throw myself out there in driving Toyota instead of a Ford? That feels really new to me. It feels quite almost foreign, which it is. You know, it's still within the common sense. It's still within the category of cars. It's still within, you know, it exists. It's in your reality. You've seen them, you know. Maybe that was like a really plain and basic metaphor. I just feel like this is something that you're throwing yourself into the unknown, like having lucid dreaming, or like astral projection, or putting yourself into the unknown, as in you've never seen this before. You don't have a reference to this. There's nothing that you can Google about it that, well, maybe it is something you can Google about it, but it's still going to be so far out of your reference point, and like it's nothing that you can reach into and say, yeah, that makes sense because I did that last time. There's no last time here, unless it was like a previous lifetime. I don't even think it was a previous lifetime. This is something you're diving deeper into, that's like really into the unknown. That's why we're taking a leap of faith. And I see the crossing out of the borders, the crossing out of the, like, what's real and what's not real, what seems to be solid matter and what isn't. And that it starts with butterflies and flowers here, and then we move that forward, and soon enough it blurs out to just being paint, or just being unknown. And then we have this rainbow energy coming in, and it creates this beautiful earth, peace on earth. The same thing happens here, because this is patience and planning, but it's also this sketching of something, the sketch and the full manifested, excuse me, the full manifested thing. So do you see that this looks like it's drawn? Obviously they're both drawn, but like this is like a sketch, and this is when it has materialized. So we're moving between the unseen and the seen, the not solid form, solid form. You're in the midst of playing with this. You're playing with the metaphysical. You're playing with the unknown. And I love it. I'm not necessarily drawn to the patience and planning. If I were, I'd say that this sort of comes into, like, give yourself a break. Give yourself a moment or two. If you're starting to really come into these areas and these, I don't know what's up with my throat, because I think my throat started just the moment when I started your reading. So maybe there's something like really truthful in this, really authentic for you to like really be going on this journey. What was I saying? Yeah. So the patience thing and the planning thing, like I would have patience and I would throw planning out the window. Even if like you were to just dive into meditation, or if you were to go into like a yogic practice or any sort of martial arts or dance, or like, we could really pick anything, you know, being an artist or being a painter, whatever, you're just not gonna, you know, make the perfect situation the very first time you do it. It's just not happening. So this is about like, and if you're stepping into the unknown, that you don't even have like an, we could say that, yeah, we have a reference point for how, give or take, a painting should look. Even if it's the most abstract thing you ever saw, it's still sort of a result, and we know, yeah, that's a result, that's a painting. You don't there's no end goal here. The end goal is to learn more. And if you are gonna take score 5 minutes in, you are gonna get frustrated. So if you're gonna use patience in any shape or form here, I would say it's just take your time to really get settled with these energies. Like, I'll tell you something personal here that I rarely share. It's not a thing that I don't share it. I just don't share it. When I started out really wanting to have contact with my inner being and with my guides and angels and all of that, like, I really have like just had a curiosity. I wasn't hit on the head. I didn't bump my head against a stone. I didn't, you know, wake up one day and have these gifts. I wasn't born psychic, although I believe everyone is. I had just an innate curiosity for things. I wasn't settling for this is just how it is. And it has been like just a journey to get to the place where I just have clear communication. And in this journey, on this journey, one of the first things that came to me was I needed to shape up in my body. Before I could have like really clear connection, my body needed to be so much lighter. So I think it took me almost like a full year to get the body into the shape that, it's not the shape, it's not the form of the body, it's the lightness of the body. It's the how high I can come vibrationally to really make that connection. Now I sort of can make it anyway because the connection is just there. So like I needed to like have patience and just really, even before be able to do any type of work. I'm not saying this is you. I'm not saying you have to take a whole year now to dive into whatever it is that you want to dive into. I'm just saying you don't have like, this is a situation where you don't have a typical, this is how it looks, this is the result, expect this outcome in 5 minutes. Throw that out the window and you'll be so much happier. Then we have disruption. We have the Tower. And I think this is about, how do I say that? Okay, so it's not, don't be alarmed. It is the disruption tower though. It's not like it's not a rebuild. It's not a putting back together. It's not, that was like way in the past. I think that the more that you dive into the unknown, the more you'll understand what you don't know. If that makes sense, the more you need to dissect and like learn from scratch and maybe understand that like either wow, you're none of what you thought, or either wow, you're ever so much more than you thought. So it's like a dismantling of who you truly, it's a dismantling of the version of yourself that you put together up until this point. It's a dismantling of it. It's a reorganization going on in your body and in your, I shouldn't say soul, but in your adjustment to the soul. Yeah, I'll work with that. An adjustment with your soul. And that's a dismantling, that's a disruption. That might be a little bit uncomforting to you at times. So the more you can just, again, if you leave the planning out of this and just bring as much patience as you can and just understand that this is a journey. Okay, So I actually get an urgency. I mean, usually the messages that I get is like, you have time, don't rush it. And I mean, obviously we're saying don't focus on any result. Whatever this unknown, this metaphysical lucid dreaming timeline jumping, like whatever it is that you're looking into right now, or changing about yourself, or understanding about yourself, or the bigger version of you, there's no result. So we can throw the result out the window. However, very rarely I get like an urgency of anything, because usually what I get is like, there's time. You can do whatever you want in your own time. There's no rush. If you die, there's another life. Like, it's just a very almost nonchalant approach to time. Today with this TikTok, I'm getting a little bit of an urgency. Like, if you've been called to look into this metaphysical part of you, or understanding, or like sacred geometry, I'm getting all of those, outside the box thinking. It is outside the box for the norm, but it shouldn't be outside the box because it's what it is. It's what the universe is made up of. It's what, can take a whole other week on that one. There's an urgency for you to begin. It's not that the time is slipping away, but there's an urgency. There's like, okay, so you know enough of the calling towards this area now, so you just jump on board now. Like, it's time now, Pisces. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, it's like, what is this reading? Try to sit in meditation and see what comes up. See what it is that is like outside the norm or outside the box for you. See what it is that you are drawn to, obviously, if you're drawn to it. If this doesn't resonate at all with you, this probably isn't your reading, because I feel so strongly that if you are drawn to this reading, and if you sort of get a little bit of a excitement going as you hear of this, you're already called in, if that makes sense. And we have blessed. So this is, I think, I'm not discarding. Do you say that? I'm not discrediting your previous life leading up to this. This might even be like a big preview, or a big big foreplay, and here comes the main act, and you're about to step into something quite different. It's cruising along in something quite new. I'm supposed to read out of the book, so I will. But I'm supposed to, okay. We're supposed to read from the book, but not take it as face value. So let's see what that means. 22 is also a master number. So it's like it's an ongoing process. It's not something that you think about anymore. And it's not a done deal. It's in the process of becoming. It's in the process of happening. 22. Blessed. Essential meaning of this card is something wonderful that is unearned and unexpected, grace that is an unforeseen gift from spirit. That's what I feel with, like, you didn't expect this. You're stepping into something brand new that maybe you weren't even thinking would happen in this lifetime. The Oracle's message states, there are moments in life when out of the blue, it seems that everything has been orchestrated by divine intervention. You feel blessed in ways that are difficult to express. It's as if the Red Sea parts in front of you and events come together to banish your troubles easily and naturally. You know deep down you did not this is the text. I don't like this, but yeah. You know deep down that you did not deserve any of it, and yet here you are. This is one of those times. Let awe and gratitude for all your blessings guide you now. So you did earn this. I think I know what they mean, and people have commented in the comment section every once in a while, like, I don't think that they mean that you don't deserve this. It's more like you weren't even knowing that you worked towards this. This was not even like on your drawing board. This wasn't in your calendar. It just sort of almost shows up. It's just that it didn't almost show up. It's like you prepared your entire lifetime to step into this type of knowing and wisdom and understanding. And so just for the sake of it, I want to say you do deserve this. And it's like you planned for it your entire life, but not knowing, if that makes sense. Okay. I'm going to read it all. And yeah, the relationship message states, you are moving toward a deepening of intimacy in a unique and sacred partnership. You know you are meant to make this connection. This union, blessed by the divine, will bring transformation and beauty to the world. This is also a sign that, even more important, you're being called to a deeper intimacy with yourself and spirit. That's what I feel. I'm not saying that you're not going to meet someone that's of a great significance to you. But what I'm drawn to, and when I heard don't take it at face value, don't be so literal about it. I feel like it's more towards you're going to open up. This is more like a relationship with a guide, or this is more like a relationship with the universal forces, or yeah. Again, not saying that it can't be a connection with a romantic partner or someone just really vitally important for your spiritual journey and for your journey forward. It's probably almost a result of you going on this path that's going to open up for you. This is also a sign, even more important, you're being called to a deeper intimacy with yourself and spirit. With this new development, you will see evidence of grace in your life. The prosperity message states, do you hear that owl? He was like, I'm not singing for no one. Have you heard it in the background? If you just rewind 30 seconds, it's like an ongoing woo woo. So what is that message? The moment I honed in on that owl, it disappeared. Okay, interesting. So the owl represents wisdom, right? I thought it started to talk again. That's how it can be if you're starting to hone in on something. You're starting to see things come up in the peripheral. That's not an owl, that's I don't know what that's called in English. An uv. Anyway, you probably know this already. Like if you see something in a peripheral and then you look at it and it disappears. It's something like that. Like a lot of wisdom is there and you will sense that it's there and you will feel that it's there. You might even see in the peripheral that it's there. And the moment you look at it, it dissipates. It goes away. Oh, there's so much I want to say about that. But okay, let's just move on. More interesting to look at this way. I held it this way, right? You haven't watched that all the time. I hope not. The prosperity message states, unexpected windfalls and good fortune come your way now. You're in a phase where any difficulties or obstacles that have... I've read this so many times and I still don't know how I pronounce it. Stymied? Stymied. Stymied. Or obstacles that have stymied your process seem to disappear on their own. Be ready to receive, Pisces. The windows of opportunity will open wide. Accept the blessings given to you now and don't forget to share them with me. I usually don't read the protection message, but right there it said humility is called for now. When I said for me, and share it with me, and then I read humility is called for. Okay. Wow. I almost never read a protection message. I'll read it. Humility is called for now, as grace is an unearned gift. I don't like that. I don't like that expression. I actually don't agree. But anyway, you didn't gain this by your own desires or actions. I understand that. But you did still. But it's like you didn't understand that you did. You didn't gain this by your own desires or actions. Well, debatable. In a way you did, or in a way you didn't. To be who you need to be, you can no longer do what you did. Agreeable. In a way, you have hit rock bottom, and what is required now is nothing less than total surrender. Then you will be blessed. So, what I feel with this, when you go into these, when you go into these places, when you go into these, just put the card back. When you go into the unknown, the unseen, where the veil is very thin, when you can see through dimensions, the more you have a result in mind, that's probably why, just throw it out the window. Don't go into the result. Don't plan anything. Let it just be what it is, and let it show up in the form that it wants to show up in. The more you have a result, and the more you think you have a clear view of the outcome. When you're dealing with these types of energies and with these types of higher dimensions and higher vibrational places, if there's one thing, in my experience, maybe someone else would say something different, but in my experience, in my reference, the less you know and the more that you surrender, the bigger the reward. And that's what it's saying. When you when there's a complete surrender, and when it's this rock bottom, that sounds really harsh, but it's sort of associated with this. I feel when you try to let go of everything that you think that you are, and you actually agree to, okay, I'm just gonna feel out of sorts for a bit, out of tune, out of sorts, out of place, because you're put in a situation where you're not comfortable. Then the reward, the blessing starts to come in. When you have pinned down and you know exactly how things are, this is how it is, There's no room for improvement. There's no room for surprises. There's no room for you to go to the next level, because you've defined it. Is it easy? I didn't say that. Is it simple? Probably the most simple thing you will ever do. Just like life, we just seem to complicate a bunch of stuff. There was one more deck that spoke to me, which was that. That was this one. Which was that? Sometimes the English. It's okay. I'm okay. The World card. Embrace the new earth. That's where we started. You're part of creating a new earth. How's that for your 9 to 5? What do you do for a living? Creating a new earth? What are you doing? in your face. So this is about ending a big chunk of your life, a big part of, and I feel that as a version of you, because there's so much about shifting your perspective, going into the unknown, take a leap of faith into the unknown, dismantling yourself, surrendering to something never experienced before. So talk about, that's like a mini death. Talk about leaving stuff behind. So, and then the fun part though, the blessed part, is you're stepping onto a completely new scene, a new earth. Literally, I think this is literally a new earth, with a new heart growing inside of that earth that's becoming stronger and stronger. And I feel, Pisces, that you're all for it. This might be a reading where we don't have any gray areas. We don't have any grace. We might have grace as in Grace, and we might have Grays, grace. Yeah, it's a situation where I feel like if you come on here and halfway through you're like, well, not for me, or you have been with me to the end because this is completely your reading and you get everything that I say. I don't think we have any gray areas where, yeah, some parts worked and some parts didn't. You know, I think it's an either or here. It's like broccoli. Either love it or hate it. Or, yeah, never mind. You're embracing something new. You're all for it. I love the journey that you're on, Pisces. It's really wonderful. We're going to have some final messages from your fairies. What they want to tell you for the month of July. This can be attached to the message. It can also be like its own little message on this side. Harmonious family. Wow. Pisces, did you have this last time, harmonious family? Inner force. It's very similar in how they, if I just do this without the child there first. They're holding like, both of them are holding a light in their hand. Like one is holding like a little, almost like an orb, like a white little orb. And then the other one is holding a star. There's something here in the palm of your hand. You're holding the earth as well. You're very creative. Okay, so we're starting with this harmony in family. So this is in Swedish, harmoni I familjen. Harmoni I familjen. Harmony within the family. Here's the owl or the uv. Yeah. I just feel like there's this someone that's really tending to their child right now. It might even be a baby that's on its way in. Whether you're going to have your own child or if this is a grandchild, there's a lot of like leading the way, showing the way, holding space for your child, being there for your child. I recognize this so much. Was it Pisces? Was it Aquarius that had this? I just feel that this energy for you, Pisces. I think maybe you had this even for the month of June, that there was like a big taking care of, like a caring, nurturing energy towards your children or towards your child right now. And it seems to like come up again. And then we have inner force, your inner power. I think you're finding, I mean, this is not, she doesn't look very human. Like the clothing is very sparkly. The clothing is made up of the universe or from the universe. Holding a star in the palm of her hands, that can talk about wish fulfillment. And I think the journey that you're on right now is when you're finding your true inner power. You're starting to really recognize, I'm not talking who you are as your name or as your occupation. I mean who you are as a species on this planet. It's very existential. I love the readings for the month of July. They've been up and down and everywhere and very different and very, I like them. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, Pisces. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And please give it a thumbs up now that you listened to the end. If you do like it, give it a little thumbs up. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.